Hey, what's up guys? Mike Locke here. I'm going to take you through a design I did recently for a concept I did for Disney for their World of Color show. If you don't know what that show is, you can go over to YouTube and just do a search on World of Color and actually take a look at their show. Basically, it's like a huge water show that's full of color at the California Disney Adventure Park. But basically, they have all these big large mist of a wall here, and they project movies and colors and stuff like that on the actual water, which is amazing. Anyway, go over to YouTube and take a look at that. But what I was the point here is what I was doing is a concept for a microsite for that particular show, and I came up with a design. This is a project I recently did, and I wanted to just walk you through how I went about designing this site, or how my thought process and the framework behind the layout of this site. All right, so let's go over to Fireworks, and what I'm going to do is walk you through the wireframe first, and then I'm going to walk you through the wireframe quickly, and then show you the mock-up, the color mock-up, and kind of walk you through that kind of a little bit slower. But first off, when I go through my process after my the thought process and the conceptual stuff has been taken care of, and I get to the design process, I always sort of think about the site in this sort of framework, where the top here I have these are the containers that I think of my site and how I would visually lay it out in a way. So the top here would be logo, navigation. This little box here below it is what I call my billboard. This is where you're gonna basically promote, do the most of your promotion here. You're gonna have messages and stuff like that in this section. And these three boxes are just three containers of information. And I use three because it's easy and it's simple. It sort of allows the users to kind of read the information easily without being too overwhelmed by tons of boxes here and tons of information. So you break it up into three groups, pretty simple. And then below that you have your footer. Okay, so basically you just look at these six boxes, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's pretty much your framework for your site. Okay, so let's look at the wireframe for this. So the wireframe for the site, basically I have this big gray box in the back, and that's going to be, I thought of that being some texture. Okay, and then I add this box here. This is my billboard. This is what I would consider for this particular site is my high definition TV. Think of this as this is going to be a big video playing, some video footage of the World of Color show. Alright, and so what I needed to do, I'm going to add the logo and the navigation up here, up at the top. So I add the logo. This box represents the logo. This represents the navigation. Here's my navigation links, a little detailed there. But because this is going to be layered on top of this widescreen TV, I need to have this bar here, so I added this bar for some treatment so that it acts as the background for my logo and navigation. And you're going to see how this comes out on the color mock-up, how I made that work. And then right here I had a box. This box here will be my marketing message, my call to action. And then down below you remember those three red boxes here? Those are the different containers. Box number 1, about the show. Box number 2, my photos and videos. And box number 3, I added show times for this particular concept. And then I add these arrows here, and these could be used for in case I wanted to make this a jQuery sort of slideshow, or this could be Flash, and you can sort of scan between different videos and things like that for this whole different section. And then right here I just add a background to these boxes, little box here, and then below it you add your footer, Disney logo, links, and a little call to action purchase button here. Alright, so that's the wireframe for that layout that I just showed you. So what I'm going to do is hide that for now, and let's go to the color mockup and go through this again, but just using the color results. So the first thing I did was you add this big gray bar here at the top, and this has some texture. There's some graphics of the World of Color show, or the California Adventure theme park. And then I add my big widescreen TV, and here's a still shot of the World of Color show. But the end, think of this section here being a full, high definition video footage of the show, right? So now, remember, I'm going to lay my logo up here, my navigation links, but because this is a full color video, I need to add that horizontal bar. So there you go. I added the horizontal bar, and then I can add my logo here, Disney World of Color logo. I didn't create that, by the way. That's taken from Disney's site. And then the navigation links. Alright, and notice the bar behind the navigation links is a little transparent to give it a nice kind of sexy look, because if it's totally black, it kind of doesn't go that well. So you want to give it, give it a little transparency, so you give it some nice little treatment. And then right here, remember we needed that box here. Here's the box and the call to action. This is like our marketing message, and then you have your call to action. Watch video, view photos. Alright, let's add our little arrows. Here's our little arrows there. Then we're going to add our boxes right here. There's 3 boxes. Box number 1, about the show. Box number 2, photos and videos. Box number 3, show times. And we're going to add a container, a little box around this to give it some color. Alright, and then we're going to add the footer. Here's the footer. Disney logo, links, and a little purchase button here. And right here in this little section, this white section, right where this treatment stops, I'm going to add a little shadow to give it some depth. So there you go, you have a little shadow. Alright. So here's the end result. The end result is this full color mock-up for the World of Color microsite. And basically what I did was just walked you through the framework that I think about when designing sites like this. Something that you can keep in mind when designing your sites. My framework, you don't really have to stay within that mold. You can always break it, but I think when you don't really have an idea on where you're going with the site, it's good to sort of think of the site in terms of, the framework that I laid out. Logo, navigation up top, billboard, these 3 little boxes, and then your footer below. If you start there, you can pretty much build, over 85–90% of your sites in that mold. But now the styles and the graphics that you use within those areas, that's where you have to let your imagination run and sort of be creative and be different based on the brand that you're building on, and the brand values of that particular company. Alright, so if this was Tiffany, I wouldn't use these sort of bold. I would use more fancy fonts and things like that. So remember the brand that you're working with and try to be as creative as possible in these different sections and how you style the entire site. Alright, so hopefully this was helpful. You learned a little bit from this, and shoot me an email if you have any questions. I'll try to answer all of them. And alright, so we'll chat again. Talk soon. Bye.